Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer. Welcome back to FM22. It's Youth Factory, and we are on episode 16. Now, of course, last time how we got into this new season, only to find that, things were rather challenging at this level. We've finally reached a level that is fitting of our abilities, and we're in the right place. And so we no longer top the tables. In fact, we were only, fifth place? At the end of the last episode, a few matches back, but a few wins on, things going a little more smoothly. Of course, we had a few easier games with only one top 10 side on the calendar for the last few weeks has allowed us to move up the table a little bit. We now find ourselves just into second place in the table, but we've got a couple games in hand on Norwegian, who sit equal on points but behind on goal differential, and a couple of losses on top compared to what we have. Well, our resident amateur club, GUI, sit fourth place, equally having the fewest number of matches played on the season thus far. 8 wins, 4 losses, no draws for them. They are win or go home. Max Verstappen. Yeah, it sounds about right. Well, anyway, plus 10 goal differential, meaning they have been second place throughout the last little while, but with those couple games extra that Norwegian have played, they've bumped ahead of them. And our run of form lately has just recently bumped us ahead of them. Likewise, Kongsvinger, the team that is just dominating, the team that has more payroll than I think everybody else combined, or pretty dang close to it. They're triple that of the second highest in the entire 29-team larger league that we are a part of. Yeah, they continue to roll. Not perfect. They've got a couple draws. They have a loss, but they're 12 points clear. They've played some more games though, but they are 12 points clear. Those two opponents, that's our next 2 matches. It also happens to be that those next 2 matches are at home. A win only in both, I think, would give us a chance. For one thing, we've got those games in hand. For one thing, we would be pulling necessary points to essentially draw even with Kongsvinger. Once we've played equal number of matches anyway, we both have 2 draws, we both have 2 losses. Goal differential, though, would still very much not favor us. And, excuse the language here, but they completely kicked our ass the first time we played them. It was 4-1. Now, they were semi-fortunate. I mean, XG-wise, it was 2-1. They very much controlled the match. Things fell apart in a hurry. They scored 3 goals in a matter of minutes. And, during at least that little stretch, we're semi-fortunate. We held them for a while. We held them for a half. We led for a half. We were in with a shout. But they were clearly the better team. And they are the heavy favorites to win the title this season. If we're going to have any chance, this is our last time that we get to play them, for one. We're also, by the end of these 2 matches, going to be at the halfway point of our season. We have to win these next 2 if we're going to have a chance in the league. Otherwise, I think we are destined to biding our time, getting through this season, trying to train some players, trying to develop a little bit, and next season is where it's at. And, more importantly, hope and pray that Kongsvinger win the title, gain promotion, because they are just too good. They are too good, way too good for this level. They are what we've been in our previous divisions, in our previous levels, where we were just much too good for everybody else, and everybody else in the league looks at us and goes, "Are we gonna play them this week?" Joy. And then, just get it over with. Get it over with. And yeah, okay, there's a shock result here and there, but ultimately that team just cruises and walks over the league. That's been us. Now it's them. We need them to be that team through the rest of the season and get out of the way. Unless we can provide a little shock and awe, beat GUI, beat Kongsvinger, and find ourselves in a title battle. And maybe, just maybe, get through this season and continue climbing that ladder when we don't deserve it. Not likely, but the next two matches will be very telling. And we start with the easier match. It's GUI. It's the amateur side. This should be the worst side in the league, but it very much is not. This is a good, strong side. They are among the favorites in the league, and they are, or have been, second on the table through most of the season. Those games in hand have opened things up a little bit. We'll see how we do. Regular side has been picked for this one. None of them unavailable. We've had a few minor injuries this season, but nothing major. Great ball over the top. Lovas cannot continue on with the run, though, as he's got to turn out. Great ball inside to Al. Not offside. You got to be kidding me. That was clearly on. Oh, how devastating. Oh, that goal should have stood. That goal 100% should have stood. That goal, that wasn't a goal, but that wasn't offside either. Wow, the refereeing. I never quite knew this about this game. I always suspected it, but it wasn't until this year that I fully understood that the refereeing, that there is an algorithm in this game about mistakes being more prevalent, as Lavas bangs that off the underside of the crossbar. How does that not go in? Okay, we are all over them. It's only just past the 10-minute mark a moment ago where we hit that crossbar, and we have put the ball in the back of the net repeatedly, again and again and again. This time it stands Norheim with his first ever goal. Is that his first goal? I just caught the headlines there for just a second. It should already be 3. It should already be 3, but it's only 15 minutes in, and we lead 1-0. This one stands. Al's should have stood, and the post, well, the crossbar, the woodwork getting in the way of number 3 there, just barely inching itself. I mean, that is half inch away from 3 goals at this point. But will things settle down with a goal, or can we keep the pressure on? Can we keep forcing the ball towards the back of the net? We'll see. XG already approaching 1. Bergholm hits the post. I think correctly it called offside this time. But you can see we are just pummeling them. Half an hour, though. The things have settled down a little bit. Remember, all of those highlights were in the first 15 minutes. Now we've had just a couple in the last 15, though we went close again. This time just offside, and this time the woodwork denying us. Well, a second time around. This time more aptly. The first one should have gone in, should have scraped, should have slid down the bar instead of coming back, as Lavas hits the woodwork a third time. Al, free kick. Lavas sends it into Osby, who is ripped down at the box, his legs swept out from underneath him, and we have a penalty, and it's 2. Half an hour gone by, and we were absolutely demolishing the second best team in the league. But it's the amateur side. It's the amateur side that lives above their means, that outperforms. XG-wise, we're right on track. We're doing what we should be doing here. We've only managed to get 2 shots on target. We've hit the woodwork more than we've hit the back of the net. But of course, we have hit the back of the net. We just get called offside for it. But anyway, not the point here. We are in control. Unless things change in the second half, let's move forward to the next game. Before we jump into that next match, I just wanted to show you that our U19s is mirroring what's going on at the senior level. We have dominated the league, hardly taking any losses over the last few seasons, hardly even taking any draws. I mean, they win almost every match, and they win by multiple goals. This season, a little bit different. For one, they're not leading the league. They're actually a fair distance behind. They're 10 points back. We're 9 points back. It's quite mirrored. I mean, it's shocking how similar our senior squad and U19s have been to one another these last few seasons. But they are just ahead of the chasing teams. They do have a couple games in hand. Again, mirroring what's going on at senior level. But just thought that was noteworthy. For us, this is as good as a title decider. I honestly think if we lose today, we will not have a chance in the title this season. We must come away with something. At the very least, a draw, you then have a small chance still of getting a result in the league itself. Any sort of loss, whether it's close or far, would be devastating and ending. But Bergam on the scoreline just in the 7th minute already with a free kick in a very dangerous position. And Bergam, not even the nearest man to it, just the quickest to react. There were 3 defenders and 1 teammate all closer to that ball than Bergam was. And Bergam just moved faster to get there. And we are in the lead. Now, we led last time too, though, and then lost 4-1. So it's all still to play for. Great play from the opposition there. We are very lucky that they opted to take the early shot on that one from range. Stensby Jakobsen getting the save, forcing it out, getting the corner, which they then put over the top, but that's already 2 early chances for them. And Larson, great cut inside, and we're giving away chances like we're giving away candy on Halloween at the moment. Grui, meanwhile, getting revenge on their loss to us. They're already up 2-0 inside 20 minutes in their match. Play for set pieces. Might be helpful against these guys, actually. Not winning headers, that's something we're not used to. Oh! Wow, Kasul, 1-on-1 with the keeper. Play for set pieces. I like it. Let's go balanced. Since giving up the goal, they've gone pretty aggressive here. XG-wise, we are very lucky. We've only had the 1 shot on target. We are the lucky ones this time. They, meanwhile, half a goal. Another half to play. Same rate. They'll probably get one. Can we get a second? I think we might need it. I'm not sure we're looking at a clean sheet at this point by the end of this thing. Second half already underway. That early goal, very helpful, but also very worrying because it's got them playing on the front foot, and they have played well since then. They've responded well to going down a goal. Bergam, nice first touch, tripped. Dangerous spot for a free kick. Here it is, Bergam. Oh, into the upper corner. Keeper just getting over there and not only making the save, but hanging on to it. Good stop from the keeper. Norheim struggling. Gillow, all season long, struggling a little bit. Calzi, aggressive, gets a foot in there though. Again, Calzi makes a nice play. 3 good defensive plays as he makes it another. Okay, in possession, a little too close together. Spread out a little bit, guys. Must be, finds Calzi. Calzi over the top for Lovas. Lovas takes it outside instead of trying to beat his defender, but he lays it off for Bergam. Nice little return pass inside, but Bergam's shot was blocked. Hour gone by, and that is close. That is a goal kick. That was off the crossbar, not Stensby Jakobsen. Here's another corner. Only a minute or so later. Again, the crossbar has saved us all year, all series long. It has been the bane of our existence as Bergam gets 2 chances there and can't put it in. No, I do not want Kumar. Kumar's like the weakest guy. We played him last game in the second half, which, by the way, we won 3-0 in the end on that one. Let's go cautious. What a sliding tackle to get in there and block that one and get to the other side of your man. They desperately want me to do Kumar. No, I do not want to do Kumar. Offside. 74 minutes gone by. Start that time wasting and start thinking about other things like we don't need to work the ball in the box. We need to take our chances, which are few and far between. In transition, do we want to regroup or counter press? I don't think we need a counter anymore. That we'll start with that. And out of possession, We're going to start dropping just a little bit. Just tighten it up. Norheim over the top, gives it away. Norheim struggling today, I think, and he's tired. Let's go ahead and bring on Ace Rod into the left. What? Why game? Why? Al, free kick, dangerous spot, and there's a second. Severetti! Oh, I think this is going to do it, folks. I think that might be a game winner right there. The free kicks, playing for free kicks, has worked out against this opponent. That's Severetti. Both times we've gone far post. All right, instructions. Lots of time wasting. Lots of it. Now let's drop it down. We'll go standard and lower. And it's time to start thinking about the next substitution. Kalzi through to Lovas. Is he offside? How is that? That was... The ball looked like it was on the ground, rolling under the keeper's legs, and somehow it bangs off the bar. Odd, but okay, we're in stoppage time. Those subs, not even necessary because we just skipped right to the end of the match. Job done. Job done. And you look at those match stats. We were the lucky ones today. Now, they only managed to get one shot on target. That says a lot. That's very telling. But XG-wise, should have been 1-1. But we end up 2-0, primarily because the on-target was 5-1. That was the difference in this match. We get our revenge. Both teams winning at home, and the season series is done. The goal differential is still very much not our friend as we trail by 12. But the points gap is just 6. And we have 2 games in hand. If we win both, we would be equal on points. You win both, you're gaining at least a couple goals. That's still looking like about a 10 goal differential. So they are still the dominant force of the league. But 2 things have happened. One, we've given ourselves at least a chance. If they have a bad run of form and we continue to play well, we could unseat them from the top of the league and gain that promotion this season and not wait for next year. But 2, we've opened the gap behind us. The extra games that we had, well, yeah, those have been used up for the most part, but we've opened a gap. So now we're 5 points clear behind, 6 points clear behind. And that is helpful. That is useful. That is a step in the right direction. Comfortably second place right now. And even if we don't catch Kongsvinger this season and they do get their promotion, they're out of the way. And at this point, we look strong enough, we look poised that next season could be our year, if not this season. I'm going to push forward. Let's see, how many, 28 game season. Let's push forward 4 matches and see where we're at. We'll have 10 left to play. April provided a really slow start to our season. We had that pummeling where we lost 4-1, and then we turned around and lost 3-1 in the very next match. Now, they were both on the road, and it turns out that, Kongsvinger was the top team in the league, and we just didn't know that before that match. But starting with 2 straight losses was just a massive wake-up call. We started to bounce back, but in the following month in May, we still had just 2 wins and 2 draws. We struggled. We kept 3 clean sheets through there, but we were definitely not scoring at a rate that we've seen in past seasons. So that was 8 matches played. Yeah, 8 matches played, and we had 4 wins, 2 draws, 2 losses. It's not bad. Normal circumstances, that's not bad. 4 wins, 2 draws, 2 losses. But compared to where we've been in previous seasons, that was a real struggle. We've now gone through our last 2 months winning every single match, though. Numerous clean sheets, and we've scored 3 or more in most of them, and we've won by at least a couple goals in all but 3. And continuing on with that trend, you can actually see continued improvement, not just from those first couple months, but June, we had 2 1-goal victories out of 4 played. In July, we only had a single match on the road that was a 1-goal victory. Everything else, including Gui Kongsvinger, were both multi-goal victories. We've also opened August with a 3-0 victory. They did have somebody sent off, but it wasn't until the 87th. It was already 3-0 by that point. Calzi scored in the first minute. Scored again in the 16th. And Bergam just after halftime to seal that thing. We only have 2 more matches the rest of the month of August. We are getting into the later stages of the season. Looking ahead, 12th place away, 13th at home, 11th, 7th but at home, 15th, 4th, Nasadin. That's the first challenging match coming up, and it's not until late September. We could theoretically go through the next 5 matches, hopefully continuing on with our win streak, and that might just set us up for a very late season battle that could go in the right way. Because here's what we're looking at after 4 more matches played. Kongsvinger still lead, but they've still played 2 matches more than us, and they did not immediately bounce back with some victories. What they did do was the match after we beat them, they came out and drew the following match. So they did not bounce back immediately. Since that time, they've won their next 3, but they dropped 2 more points. And suddenly, 2 matches in hand, if you were to win those, of course that's a big if, but lately that's something we have been doing, we would be sitting on 50 points. Also, that goal differential, that was strongly in their favor. They were about a dozen goals ahead of us. It's down to 7. You take 2 matches in hand, and we've been winning by about 2 goals. You add 4 goals to our total, and that's 31. That's just 3 points behind, 3 goals behind, and that would be a couple points ahead. Big what if. We haven't won anything beyond the 14 wins we have in 18 matches played. There's no guarantees. We still have a job to do, but I like our chances in the next 5. GUI, meanwhile, they're keeping pace. They are still 5 points behind. The goal differential, though, where we were just ahead of them, I believe, now we are massively ahead. We're plus 13 compared to them. They are still a team that either wins or loses, and the only loss they've had was to us. They are now 13 wins, 5 losses. But that next challenging match, 6 matches from now, Nasadin, they have not kept pace. Nasadin is falling off. Nasadin now on 29 points. They are now 10 points adrift of GUI. Now, they had played 1 or 2 matches more than GUI when we saw them in the table last, but remember, they had jumped them. Now they're 10 points behind. So they have slipped back. They are looking like an easier team to beat right now, and we're not looking at too many teams that could present much of a challenge to us currently. Does that mean we're going to win out the rest of the season? Well, if we do, that would mean a title. But that doesn't mean promotion, remember? Group A, Group B, title winners will play each other for the one and only team to be promoted. There's a lot of games to play to start talking about winning out the season. In fact, 14 opponents, that's 28. We've played 18. We have 10. We have 10 matches to play. I'm not counting chickens before they've hatched. I'm not counting us at 24 wins. I doubt that that's going to happen. Theoretically, it's possible. Theoretically, it could happen. I doubt that it's going to. But it's going to take something close to that if we're going to beat Kongsvinger. But it could happen. It's not over yet. That win against them was massive, and so far so good in the 4 subsequent matches. I'm only going to push forward 2 more for now, because we have some late season drama that I think is poised for the next episode, since we are in a very strong position right now, and we have battled back from 5th place to have a shot at the league this season. And for the first time, we have a close battle at the top. Last season, it came down to the end of the season. Okay, I suppose we did have one, didn't? But it wasn't like this season. It wasn't where we were on the back foot trying to fight through. We were on the front foot, knowing that we could get the job done, and we just needed to see it out. And we only had 1 loss the whole year. It was just that other team that was sitting in second place, provided that loss had made it close. This year, we're clearly more vulnerable. It's clearly closer. We're clearly not exceptional like we were. And Kongsvinger is. They are the ones dropping the ball, opening the doorway for us. Will they leave it open? Will we take advantage? Well, let's see how 2 more matches go, and then we'll see where we're at. I have a couple days until that second match that we were checking in on, but we have our mid-season transfer window, and it had been very quiet. I was going to bypass it, tell you about it after that second match, but things have gotten interesting last minute. It's 11:15. It's 11:15. This is probably it. There probably isn't enough time. Ostby, I was nervously waiting, but the offers didn't go above 30K for Ostby. But Kalsi, who I would be more willing to part ways with, of course, that fits us out at center mid, but we'd get by. Stayback and Viking have both been coming in hot and heavy, looking to sign Kalsi. They are absolutely upping their bids more and more. And for the first time, we see something a little bit higher in terms of rejection from the board, where previously, the moment they hit 100K, they were taking the deals. Now, we're seeing 130K turned down. So what's the new mark? Is it 150? Usually it's rounded off. It always seems to be rounded off, as I've noticed from previous years of doing this series. So 150, maybe 200. I like that because it means more money has to be involved before we part ways with a player. And it's going to cover off more of our debt situation for that to happen. And that's a good thing. That's a very good thing. Maybe because we're in a higher division now than what we were is why we're forcing more money out of other teams. But 130... I'm happy to turn that down. I would be okay with Kalsi at 150. Yeah, that sounds a little bit better. That covers off a lot more debt. But we'll see. 11:15, I don't think it's going to happen at this point. And sure enough, that was the final offer. We do reach midnight. No new offers in place. They were going for it. I mean, we had offers just 10 minutes apart. They were up in the money again and again late into the evening, wanting to get their man. But I'm happy. I'm happy that the board held out at 130, holding out for more money. Even if the mark has only moved to 150, that's still a step in the right direction, because if you say 160, if you round it up a little bit, that's 4 months of debt. That's all that covers. We do need them to reach higher financial quantity. We need a larger package in the money in order to start offsetting these costs, because especially those couple crazy months we had at 100K, we start pulling those again, we're looking easily at 400 to 500,000 per year in terms of debt. And if it takes 5 players to cover that, we're not going to get the intake that's going to cover off 5 players. Meaning we're just going to continue to run into financial ruin. But if we get up to 2 or 250, all of a sudden we're looking at a couple players could cover the debt for the year. That's at least a step in the right direction, right? If we're still losing money, if we're still losing large quantities of money, then we continue to just remain in the same worrisome bother that we have. And 5 players, we can't afford to get rid of 5 players. I can afford to get rid of 2 players and keep going and keep developing and keep growing if we could start breaking even financially. Two players to cover the debt. A 3rd player and we have a profitable year. That could work. But we've got to, we got to reach that tipping point where the offers get big enough and the board only accepts offers over X amount. And then, of course, somebody has to start offering that. But you could see as we climb the ladder, even though the players are the same, we're at a higher level. The teams are more willing to pay bigger sums. And we're already seeing this season that we're on the verge, right? Maybe it's not going to happen this year. Maybe it's next year that we get promoted. But I think there's still another level. We can still get another rung up that ladder before we're really in trouble in terms of progression. And maybe with that, maybe we can start getting that 200,000 type offer for our better players. It's going to come at a cost, right? There's a trade-off, but Maybe that one more rung is that tipping point. I don't know. It's still, I'm just speculating because, what else can we do? We have a financial burden. We have a financial worry. And nearly half of you think that I'm stuck with it. So, we won't cheat our way out of this problem, at least not yet. Not yet. If it's eventually too big of a problem, I'm not going to let it stand in our way. Eventually, we will do something about the finances. I'd like to see it work itself out. And I appreciate that you'd like to see it work itself out as well. I won't let us go totally into ruin. Something's got to happen at some point, and I don't want to stall out in a division forever. But for now, we still show signs of potential. We still show signs of an ability to climb. I don't think we're suddenly just a mid-table team at this level with no hope. We do have hope. So let's hang on to it and see what we can do. Let's get that one more match out of the way for this episode. Put us at 20 on the season. By the way, the other one was a win, so we continue on. We now sit on our 12th win in a row. But GUI and Kongsvinger both keeping pace. Amazingly keeping pace. Our next opponent in the table shows up as OSI, so I hadn't noticed this, but I find it very interesting who it is. Just Oslo Studenten. It's students. It's a school team. So school team sitting in 8th, and that is our opponent in our next match. But anyway, 20 matches played, 8 to go. Kongsvinger continuing to win, continuing to keep the pressure on us. They've played 3 matches more than us, but 7 points above. 3 wins, 9 points. We could have the league lead. 2 goals per match average. Looking at 40 goals now compared to their 41. So we are closing in. We are on their heels. But technically, still, goal differential, 7 behind. Points, 7 behind. But 3 matches in hand. Looking good, but 12 straight wins, which is a new team record. Yes, as good as we were in previous seasons, we still didn't manage to do what we've done right now, which is win 12 straight. Remember, we struggled through those first 8 matches with 2 draws, 2 losses, and we've only been better since. We still have a few matches ahead of us that aren't going to be too tough, but then we have Nasaden, and we still have GUI. I think we still have Grorud on the calendar to wrap up the season. So there are still some challenging matches ahead of us. It is not going to be 8 more wins. It's not going to be 20 straight. I could almost guarantee you that we are not going to wrap up this season winning 20 straight. I will be crazy shocked. However, the team, incredible form right now. They are looking very, very good. We still have it all to play for, but we come from 2nd place going into the final run of the season. And that is going to do it for this one. Through 20 matches played, Bergum sitting on 18 goals and an 8.17 rating. And Astencio, Mr. 47 current ability of 49, not really that great, has a little bit of pace, continues to be the most creative player, even though I don't even select him. I see what Al can do when Al plays, but the assistant manager loves him some Astencio, and Astencio just keeps on performing, despite I bring him on as a sub, but I don't start him. Well, anyway, that is going to do it for this episode. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there. Bye for now.